Okay, William Martin, age 61.
Alright, and my first question will be, at what age did you start really observing the news?
Well, I was about 5 or 6. It was on television. We only had 4 channels at the time, so the viewing was at best, limited.
So you'd say your major source of news would be through television?
Through television, and then basically newspapers and magazines.
So how did viewing the media at such a young age really shape you as you were developing?
Actually, the media shaped our playtimes, to be quite honest with you. Kids only had maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning, and then maybe about an hour or so in the early evening. And outside of that, we were pretty much outside. Televisions, though, not everybody had one, which was important, and sometimes we went downtown or went to any of the other places where there was a television store. All the TVs would be stacked in the front window, so we used to get a big kick out of watching 14 different TVs at the same thing.
Yeah. Alright, and so what major world events do you remember viewing as a child through the news?
Oh, I can remember the Kennedy assassination. I can remember, John F. Kennedy assassination, Ted Kennedy, Dr. King's assassination, the riots that were in Watts and Newark, Trenton, Philadelphia, Vietnam War, when they desegregated certain schools down south, and the big busing issue in Philadelphia back in the 60s, the 61, 62, 63, when they were busing kids from public schools across town.
So which one of those events would you say is your favorite, stood out the most to you?
I think the civil rights marches stood out the most to me, because I just couldn't understand why people would be treating people differently just because of color of their skin. In our neighborhood, it wasn't really that pronounced. Of course, we were separated by a graveyard between our neighborhoods, the black neighborhood and the white neighborhood. And
with the advent of the internet and digital media, did you find it easy kind of transferring to these new forms of media, or did you mostly just stay with newspapers and television to absorb the news?
I did a slow, gradual metamorphosis into the digital age, relying mostly, and still to this point, newspapers and television, I guess, because we did grow up seeing some of the TV news. It sort of got less news, more commercial, so that sort of forced us into taking a look at the internet as far as a major source for news and information and entertainment.
Alright, so do you remember any major news anchors or major names in the news when you were a kid? We kind of have Anderson Cooper, some might say Jon Stewart. Do you remember any from when you were?
Walter Cronkite. It was like having your grandfather talk to you. When we launched the first American into space, the Apollo 13, pretty much was the reassuring voice throughout. Harry Reasoner is another person I could remember. Going back, thinking Ernie Pyle, who was not so much a television person, but he was a newspaper reporter that his books about the Second World War were just phenomenal.
So, would you say that, going back to the whole commercialized thing, would you say that news reporting back when you were younger was more about news, and is today's media just too commercial to really get any real facts from, like, their day-to-day news broadcasts?
Yeah, I think today it's more commercial. The major corporations really have taken over, monopolized the reporting. You pretty much get the same reporting from just about all the major network news channels. So yeah, I think today's news reporting is jaded, you know, more centered toward corporate profits and greed. So I think that's what all you'll be getting to see.
And then another thing is, like, if most of today's are the most popular of today's news programs, like the Colbert Report and the Daily Show, usually take a satire of the news. Do you think that's more beneficial to gathering information, or do you think it's more detrimental to our society?
Oh no, I think it's fun. It's a digital age version of Mad Magazine. When I was growing up, we had Mad Magazine. What, Me Worry? With Alfred E. Newman. Oh, come on! It's just they're just a live video of what Mad Magazine was.
All right, and I think that might conclude our interview for tonight.